Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Six of Pentacles. Okay, with this Six of Pentacles, it has a tree on it and it's reminding me of the tree of life, and I'm also seeing the Fool looking at it. So Six of Pentacles and the Fool can be you opening yourself up to something that there can be hopes that this is something that can be sort of like compatible with where you are right now. I'm seeing something that kind of looks like fireworks. So this can be something that feels exciting. This can be something that feels different to you. Because we have the Fool there, I'd say that you don't when we have the Fool, usually we're being asked to be open and to sort of expand through the experience. So it may be something where you can be possibly getting outside of your comfort zone or straying from maybe what's more routine or normal for you. It's also going to help you explore. You can be exploring connection. You can be exploring relationships. You can be exploring values. You can be exploring an exchange of some sort, like showing up and giving and also receiving. It can be things that have to do with this. This Six of Pentacles, though, has a tree on it, and I almost get this feeling of whatever it is that you're involved in can be something that you find to be like really nourishing for you potentially, and having the Fool there is like, let me try it out and let me see, because maybe it really can be that, but I'm not going into it saying it needs to be like this or it needs to be like that. When we have the Fool, it's about leaving some room for grace there and to really just see how things go and what pans out. I feel like you have a loose idea sort of what the expectations are, but not so much where there's a rigidness here. And two, when we have that Six of Pentacles, it shows sort of like oscillation, relationship exchange, and so like leave room for the movement and the fluidity of that, and just like go and see sort of what comes of this. So the Fool is about being open to that, to getting involved in that, seeing how things go. And also too, with the Fool, it's like you never know where things could lead you. You never know what this could be connected to and what doors this could open as well. I definitely say that your heart is all in this for sure. Some of you, there can be some communication that's involved in this as well. I'm seeing a Knight of Cups. You can be also like putting yourself out there in like kind of a vulnerable way, or in a way where you're really like following your instinct, following your heart here. Yeah, maybe you're like showing up in a bit of a different way too. I feel like this is very heart-led, very soul-led, the way that these steps are being taken. Also too, in the Knight of Cups, there is this like forward propelling that's happening. So I feel like things will move forward as long as you are open to seeing where this goes. I feel like this is something that you're really gonna embrace. I get even the feeling of you bringing something with you. Okay. Seeing Knight of Cups and seeing Queen of Swords, there can be some balance that you're doing between moves maybe that you're feeling more instinctively or that you're feeling on an emotional level, and then sort of like what you're thinking about this. So it can be kind of like I'm feeling this come up within me, like I'm feeling inspired now to move in this way. Queen of Swords is going to be the part of you that's going to look at that and sort of reflect on that, and if there's anything that you need to tune into doing that. Knight of Cups and Queen of Swords can also be, if you're the Queen of Swords in this scenario, Knight of Cups can be like somebody that's coming through and they're saying something to you or inviting you somewhere. This can be a compliment that you're being given, or like somebody reaching out to you. It can be like something, or like somebody making a gesture of some sort. It can be that. Queen of Swords is going to be like, okay, I'm receptive to this. I'm sort of taking this in. I'm looking into it before I decide to do anything with it. I really want to break this down and understand it. For those of you that you're the Knight of Cups in this scenario, and possibly like not the Queen of Swords, even though I feel like this is definitely going to be all you. And also for some of you, there can be another person involved in this. With Knight of Cups and Queen of Swords, it's using your discernment and not only going off of what you're feeling, but there also being discernment that's connected with it. So there's an awareness. It's not just like emotions everywhere and making moves where the catalyst is very emotional. It's and that's all that there is. This adds some sort of groundedness to it with the Queen of Swords. So it's like you may want to do something or like make a move or to say that thing. Queen of Swords is going to be there sort of making sure that that's appropriate for this situation. So the gestures that you're making are appropriate. Now, also to how this can be, if you, for those of you that you have another person involved, you can be on the receiving end of a gesture like this, or you could be the one that is like moving forward with something and making a gesture, and Queen of Swords can be somebody that's sort of receiving that, on the receiving end of this. And this can be somebody that's very thoughtful, very much paying close attention to the gesture that's being made here. This is somebody that does not miss a thing. There can be some recovery time that's taking place, like wanting to sort of, wanting to sort of stabilize something emotionally. Hiyo. Okay, you can actually feel kind of undecided on this. Well, I will say, because something else is coming up, and I'm wondering for some of you if this is like possibly the case for what it is that you're experiencing. With Six of Cups and the Fool, or with Six of Pentacles and the Fool, what can be going on is that you can be looking at a situation and say, like, is this compatible? Can this be something that aligns with sort of what I'm looking for, what I would need? Like, can there be reciprocity here within this situation? And the Fool can be like possibly feeling encouraged or inspired to like take a chance to find that out, to take a chance to figure that out. And so there can be a part of you that like wants to make a move on behalf of what this is that's sort of inspired within you. And then having the energy of Queen of Swords, there can be like paying attention to really tune into this and make sure that this is a right move that you would want to be making. Like, does this really feel like the best thing to be doing in this scenario? So I'm also getting that too for some of you. Oh, come on. So that can be something that's happening here for those of you that you may not have like made this gesture yet. So there can be a question of like, is this going to be a yes? Is this going to be a no? And it can be like, if a gesture is made, it can be the question of like, is this something that's going to happen, or is this something that's going to, there's going to be a yes and like an agreement of having the interaction, or like maybe beginning an interaction. Like, let me just use an example, so because I feel like I'm getting kind of lost here. This can be something like, maybe you have your eye on somebody, or you're like looking for a partnership of some sort, okay? Like maybe you want to collaborate with somebody or you want to work with them. Six of Pentacles can be this idea of like, maybe you guys can have a situation with one another where it's like, it can be great. Like you can show up and do something and the other person can, and you guys are receptive to one another, and it's something that can be like a sustainable exchange that you guys have. Both of you guys can benefit from it, and it sort of like meets the requirements. There can be a feeling of like, I want to explore that. Having Knight of Cups would be saying, okay, I'm recognizing that I'm having these ideas and these thoughts. The Fool is going to be, this would be a new chapter. I have to maybe take a risk or a chance, or like put myself out there in order to say this. Knight of Cups can then be the gesture that's being made, and then Queen of Swords can be the person that's on the receiving end of this, looking at this, and either is going to agree with you or not agree with you. Say like, I'm receptive to that or I'm not receptive to that. For those of you that you're the Knight of Cups here. For those of you that you're the Queen of Swords, you can have somebody that's coming to you that's like saying these things like, hey, you want to work together, or do you want to like sort of find our relationship with one another, or like build that, or like see what we have in common with one another. I'm feeling this way towards you. This is my intention. You know, it can be something like that. And then you will sort of look at what's on the table and then assess that and see like what you really think about that. So having these energies that I'm seeing come out next feels like a decision that's going to be made on behalf of that. Like, and there can be two different things that we have going on here. One can be like, will these energies get involved in the first place? Like, is this something that like that the interaction or the relationship can start happening? And then we'll see where things go. The other thing is like, is it going, if that does happen, like if there is the go ahead with this, is it going to work out? So I think there are like kind of some layers to this to see where it will go. Having the Fool and having Two of Swords, this can be like Knight of Cups can maybe be wanting to make this gesture but hasn't made it already. That can be why the Two of Swords here. Two of Swords can also be here because maybe Queen of Swords hasn't given a decision if Knight of Cups has said something to them. So it can kind of be layered in that way too. I feel like it's sort of relevant to everyone. For those of you that you're the Knight of Cups and you're bringing this to somebody's table, they may not immediately say something because I'm seeing Queen of Swords be connected with Temperance. So this is somebody that really may take their time. Do you want to come down here? They really may take their time to do decision making. You can lay there. And so you may not get an immediate response. Also too, this can be something where there's like trying to find the balance with this person or within this situation, and to not like immediately be making assessments before you've really like seen what's going on. So to sort of just pay attention to what's happening, but take your time before you're calling judgment on this, because I feel like different things are going on and it may be presented like one way initially, and then things can sort of go in a different direction based off of how one is feeling. And so that can be something that you find to be happening. I also think that the in-between is going to come to an end and that things are going to be landing somewhere. And so I am seeing that action is going to be happening. And I feel too like the way that gestures have been being made can be going through some type of shift as well. Like the way that one sort of honors how they're feeling and the moves that they make in accordance with that can be something that's going through a bit of a shift or a change right now. And then also too, the way that one uses their discernment and sort of like feels things out, what they assess from what they're feeling, and then what they go about doing because of that. That can also be going through sort of a growing phase right now, where there can be like a maturation, there can be a developing that's happening. Whatever it is, I feel like this is going to take some time to realize, and so it feels more than anything like don't immediately be trying to assess something unless you have the information that you need to do that. Like, don't be quick to make a judgment call. When we have the Fool there, we don't really, like, something is new and it's being explored, and so it takes time to develop and then assess. So don't immediately be like, oh, it's not working, or it is working, or like, you don't need to do that. Just like sort of see where things go for a little bit, and don't be in a rush to sort of assess and evaluate. I mean, if you see something and it's very obvious, then yes, but don't be like shooting in the dark here. Meaning just give things time to develop, and it will. I feel too like there can be waves that happen too, where there can be a possibility of things going one way, and then there's like a little bit of a dynamic shift, and then it can feel kind of differently. And so I'd say to not to call judgment on that, because I see kind of something oscillating a bit. It seems even like you don't, I said this in one of the other readings that I did today, you don't want to make a big decision off of more transient feelings. You want to wait until something feels more concrete. So if something is happening and it feels like more transient, or like you're not feeling totally in a you're not feeling like totally at your baseline, or the situation feels kind of unsettled, like don't be going and making any big choices. It seems like it's not the time to sort of try to rush to a conclusion, which is again being encouraged by the Fool there. Like, take your time, see how things develop, and then we'll see how things go from there. And I'd say, like, don't lean too much in a direction of being like discouraged or encouraged. It feels more so like see where things go and how things play out, and just give it a little bit of time. I feel too like you don't have to make a huge statement or commitment to things until you sort of get a feel for it as well. It feels like things maybe don't have to be like very official until you get a better feel for this and what's going on, and then figure out what you want to do about that. But it feels like the whole process, there's an encouragement for you to pay attention to things and to not rush conclusions, and to not especially not prematurely, because you can see things leaning in one direction, but then it's gonna like swing back and go in a different direction. So I'm seeing the advice be connected with not trying to rush a conclusion, even if it seems something's going in one direction. Like, unless it's like 100% solid, you can maybe wait it out and see things swing back a different way. Okay? Anything else? There's like somewhat of a transition. It's like a transitionary time that's taking place. I even feel like something at the core is changing as well. That can be something that's going through a shift. That can mean too, like what people can bring to the table can be changing, or like what they're open to or what they're receptive to can be something that's changing as well. And it feels like actually in quite a foundational way. So even though there may be like possibly a lack of inspiration to like carry up and onward here, it feels actually important because things are changing that may really create a different landscape, maybe even than initially was assumed here. So while something is being figured out, I get this. Give this time. I feel like something is still kind of in transit, and that can be why too. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.